What are the performance implications of JavaScript classes? Imagine building a house with a blueprint. JavaScript classes act like that blueprint, guiding how objects are created and behave. But how does this affect the speed and memory of your web app? Let's find out. JavaScript classes, added in the S6 version of JavaScript, are a cleaner way to write object-oriented code. They are actually just syntax over the existing prototype-based inheritance model. When you create a class, you're defining a template for objects, and each object gets its own set of properties. Methods are shared through the prototype, which saves memory because they are not duplicated for every object. One key factor affecting performance is how fast it takes to create a new object, called the constructor speed. If you put a lot of logic inside the constructor, creating objects can slow down. Moving that logic to the prototype makes object creation faster because the code runs once when the class is defined, not every time you make an object. When you call a method on an object, JavaScript first looks on the object itself, then up the prototype chain. If methods are defined on the prototype, they are found quickly. But if you define methods inside the constructor, each object gets its own copy, which takes more memory and makes creation slower. Modern JavaScript engines like V8 use hidden classes, also called shapes, to speed up property access. If all objects of a class have the same properties added in the same order, the engine can optimize access. Changing the order or adding properties dynamically can break these optimizations and slow things down. Private fields, introduced in the year 2022, are only accessible inside the class. Using them can make your code cleaner, but accessing private fields often requires defining methods in the constructor. This can impact performance because it may involve extra steps during object creation. Memory management is another aspect. Classes help organize code, but if you use closures or keep references to large objects, you might accidentally keep things in memory longer than needed. This can slow down your app because garbage collection has to work harder. For most web applications, the performance difference between classes and plain objects is small. Classes are great for organizing complex code and making it easier to read and maintain. They are especially useful when you have many objects sharing behavior. If your code is performance critical, like in games or animations, small differences matter more. To optimize, define methods on the prototype, initialize all properties in the constructor in the same order, and avoid changing properties dynamically. Be mindful of closures and private fields, as they can add overhead. Creating plain objects can sometimes be faster than class instances, especially if your logic is simple. But for most projects, the benefits of clarity and structure outweigh tiny speed differences. If you only need a simple data container without methods, plain objects might be more efficient. When you want to combine behaviors from different sources, consider other patterns like mix-ins or composition, since JavaScript classes support only single inheritance. Overall, JavaScript classes are a powerful way to organize code, making it easier to understand and maintain. Their performance is generally good for most web tasks, especially if you follow best practices. When every millisecond counts, understanding how classes work behind the scenes helps you write faster code. Always test and profile your code to find real bottlenecks instead of guessing. Knowing how classes impact performance lets you decide the best way to structure your code for speed, memory, and clarity. This knowledge helps you write professional, efficient JavaScript for modern web development.